Ooh, are we live? I have not opened the Twitch yet, but I hope we're live. And I hope everyone is having a good morning, evening, afternoon, night. I hope everyone's doing good. How's everyone doing? Let me try to open Twitch on my phone just so I can also see how everyone's doing. But we are doing the Nay Live show, and I'm very excited to share this new episode with all of you. And I want to make sure that everyone is sort of accounted for. So I will probably start in like a minute or like maybe like 2 minutes. But I'm also just gonna take a look at chats as well, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And yeah, then we'll start the live show pretty much as soon as everything's ready. Give me a moment. I hope that's all right with the others as well. Oh, here we go. Let me take a look at the chats. Hi, everyone. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at goat eggs doing so well now that I'm here with you. Aw, sweet. Yes. Hello, everybody. And yes, the live show is ready. I don't want to, yeah, I won't waste too much time because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are already in the chat. So yeah, we will start the live show. Let me just bring up the script and let's do this. As obviously because it's a live show, we're not gonna have all of the sound effects that we usually have. I feel like Dylan's gonna outdo me later for the Woe Begone live show because Dylan's gonna have the whole audio set, but I will just be doing my voice. So okay. All right. As long as nothing else is, everything's okay, I will start. Just as long as I can get the go ahead. So let me know when I'm able to start and make sure that. Okay, awesome. All right. Everyone ready? I'm gonna start when I see someone say ready in the chat. Is everybody ready for the live show? Okay, I see readies. Let's go. All right, let's go. Oh, you know who I need to also ask who's ready. I just need to make sure that my own people are my own people, my own Discord server is here. So let me just quickly link them over to Podcast Book Club, not Podcast Put Club. There we go. Sorry about this. I'll just very quickly go through it, and then we'll be ready. Everyone, come over here. Everyone, let's go. It's time. I can't do the Mariah Carey thing. Podcast Book Club. Yep. Get the gang over here. Elizabeth, you have to drag everyone here now. Anyway, okay, it's time to start. All right. You can see the lighting has changed because I'm looking at a big white document. All right, ready? We will start with this brand new, never before heard episode that is also a crossover that I'd already been planning, but I decided would be good for this particular live show. So, thank you for dragging everyone by their jackets, Elizabeth. All right. This episode is entitled Remind Me to Tell You Later. Padre. Padre meaning priest in Filipino or also Spanish. The other word for priest in Filipino is pare, but we also use padre. All right. Hmm. One sec. Let me just. Oh no. I just read it. It requires age verification in the UK. Oh no. Well, the VOD will be up. Sorry about that. All right, this is unrelated. I'm just like looking at the people's responses. All right, here we go. Remind me to tell you later. Padre. My tatay was supposed to become a priest. My nanay always brought it up when I was a kid. She thought it was the funniest thing. And my tatay liked making her laugh, so he went along with it. Told the story of how he failed out of seminary because he was tempted by this beautiful woman, and definitely not because he became less and less enamored by the concept of priesthood as time went on. He had a lot of friends in the priesthood, and the church in general, even with Nanay's background. It's hard to describe for people here in Canada or the West in general, but there isn't as big a conflict between my nanay as a babaylan and my tatay as a would-be priest turned Catholic missionary as people might think. In the Philippines, a lot of our healers have been filtered through 400 years of Catholicism. So you'll see a cross here, a saint there. In the same vein, our Catholicism isn't the kind you'll see in the hallowed halls of Europe and the global north. Our saints are just the same as gods. Sorry, our saints are just the same gods that we make offerings to. Our Mary is just the same as the mother god I worship now, Lakampati. The household I was brought up in was not divided, but united in that way. My tatay focused on education and groups that worked with Lumad communities, indigenous people who were, and still are, oppressed by the AFP, Armed Forces of the Philippines. He knew a lot of activist priests from his time in UP Diliman who wanted to push for Lumad land rights, so he was moved. That's where he focused his mission on before he. I grew up with a lot of these guys from the church. Father Roddy, Choir Master Marvin. They were the kind of guys who spoke power to truth and never shut the hell up about it. I'm glad I learned a lot from them. I remember one time when my tatay was in the mission. He was mentoring this guy who was trained to be a priest, but wanted more on the ground experience. His name was Jonas, soon to be Father Jonas. But at the time, I just called him Kuya Jonas. Side note, Kuya means big brother in Tagalog. He spent a lot of time shadowing my tatay, and tatay taught him a lot, but sometimes tatay would have a busy day, and instead of giving Jonas a day off, he'd ask him to look after me. Technically, tatay could have just dropped me off at a library or playroom or something, or found someone else to babysit me, but Jonas was always around, so I sort of just ended up becoming his little shadow. I don't know if he ever minded. He was always really nice to me. Said he had a bunch of younger siblings, half siblings. He'd whisper it like it was a scandalous secret, which at the time, and in the super conservative Philippines, it very much was. Nieces and nephews that he played with. So I wasn't much different. What I remember most about Father Jonas, however, was the one time my tatay brought us to the Manila Central Post Office. The bureaucracy kept him busy while Kuya Jonas and I wandered the halls, looked at the outside. It was a beautiful old building with many stories, and a lot of them haunted. We eventually found ourselves in some quiet hallway devoid of people, which was pretty unusual considering how busy it was on a regular day. I didn't feel it at first, but Kuya Jonas stopped and looked around, like he felt something I didn't. He asked if I wanted to go back and check on my tatay, but he didn't sound sure about it, and I sort of just brushed it off. Why would I want to wait in the boring line if I had this whole building to explore? We ended up in the side path west of the main building, and I looked down this enormous, aged hall. where there was no interior lighting since the sun was all you needed in the morning. You could see stark sunlight outside, which only highlighted how dark it was within. It almost blinded me how bright the sun was that day. I was looking through narrowed eyes at the opposite end of the hall, with my view of pure white was interrupted by this black shadow. Just one, at first. It happened so fast I thought I imagined it, or like it was some kind of mirage. It looked like a woman running, crossing my vision at the end of the hall, just running past, like she was trying to get away from something. I turned around to find Kuya Jonas. Didn't see him at first, not through the colorful shapes in my vision, and the bright, blinding sunlight. I heard him call out to me. Chai, he said. Baka hinahanap tayo. Sige na. He said that maybe my tatay was looking for us, but the slight tremor in his voice told me he probably wasn't telling the truth. I almost laughed at the absurdity of it because wasn't this guy training to be a priest? Why would he try to lie? And then I felt this prickle in the back of my neck as something passed me by. A lot of somethings. Heavy boots, blood on bayonets, bloodshot eyes that pierced right through me. Every single one of them turned to me. Yellow teeth, bared with black and red holes, skin peeling from the sun, draped in ruined, bloody soldier's clothes. One of them had had his jaw blown clean off, hanging by a thread, spinning like a kapi's wind chime. Another had a tuck in his neck, his head lolling over, resting on the blade. They all reached out for me, grabbing at me. I don't know if they really did touch me, but I was terrified that they would, that they were real enough to. I almost screamed when I felt a hand on my shoulder. It probably would have echoed all the way into the main building. But it was just Kuya Jonas, pulling me away and leading me back to where my tatay was. I asked Kuya Jonas if he saw what I saw. He must have. He looked so serious. He shook his head somberly, said he couldn't see the way I did, just that he could feel that something was wrong. He asked me what I saw, and I told him truthfully. I saw the shadow of a terrified woman, the bloodied soldiers, their weapons, their eyes, their rotting teeth. He believed me wholeheartedly and walked me back to my tatay as he told me about an uncle of his who worked as a guard in this building, who claimed he heard the clanking of chains at night. I asked him how he felt the dead, if he couldn't see them or hear them like I could. And he said he didn't know. His sister was the talented one, he said. But ever since he was young, he could feel when something was wrong, when there was something dangerous about or something he needed to do. I wonder about him now. I wonder how he's doing. I haven't talked to him in years. I don't even know where to begin trying to contact him. Only Nanay. I should I should try to get in touch. Last I remember, he was doing well in his priesthood. He had a parish that loved him, got in hot water with a local political dynasty and everything. He was really when my tatay was killed, he was really very kind about it. Angry, too. Really angry. I remember the way he threw himself into his work, his ministry, his charity, how driven he was, how he never stopped. They liked to joke that he was a vampire because he never slept. He always felt so strongly for my tatay, his mentor. He felt so strongly for what happened and the injustice of it all. I guess we weren't all that different. He never stopped, and I can't either. I should look him up, see if we can get back in touch. I don't know if he's still in the same parish, even, but he never struck me as a type to leave his post unless something called to him strongly enough to pull him away. And one last thing. This episode is dedicated to activist priests speaking truth to power in the Philippines, such as Father Robert Reyes, the running priest who was arrested for standing against corrupt politicians and political dynasties, and Cardinal Ambot David, who murderous former president and current Hague prisoner Duterte absolutely hates, who oversaw the funeral mass of his administration's most prominent child victim, and many others in the priesthood who use their positions in the church to serve the people, not those in power. Thank you. Live show done. Thank you, everybody. Yay. Thank you for listening. This was, yeah, very dedicated. This was a very dedicated episode. It's also, I forgot to put this in the intro, but this episode is also a crossover with my upcoming show. So I think I think you can all guess. So this is actually a crossover with the my upcoming horror podcast, Dominus. Um, Hi, Jamie. Live show done. Yay. Yippee. That's how you finish a live show. Yay. With a with a dedication like that. But yeah, so this is gonna be there's a crossover with Dominus, which yes, Dominus and High Night take place in the same universe. And Dominus is an upcoming a Catholic horror podcast in which three priests get stuck in a mansion in a remote mansion in Ontario during a snowstorm, much like this one. And they get stuck there for 3 days while they have to exorcise a demon. However, the problem is that the demon is also Catholic and therefore inoculated against Catholicism. So now they have to figure out a very different way to exorcise the demon. And yes, lots of people got really excited about it on TikTok, shockingly. And yeah, Catholic horror, queer Catholic horror, if you want to go check that out. And you know who else got excited about this idea? The city of Toronto. So I can finally announce this, although I have announced this on the socials. Um, we are partially funded by the city of Toronto because I did not realize that we were going to get a grant, but we got a grant for this podcast, and then the pilot is coming out soon. We're also doing a bit of a yeah, wait, actually, yes, Elizabeth, the city of Toronto is paying me to make this podcast. Isn't that crazy? Um, Thank you, everybody. And the funniest response I got from when I said like, "Hey, the city of Toronto is like helping to fund this podcast," was somebody said something like, "I wish I was Canadian because what do you mean what do you mean Canada is funding this and heated rivalry?" And I'm like, "Yes, fund the queer stories. Yes." Yes, so I'm going to be doing some Catholic horror. It's going to be great. Partially funded by the City of Toronto, but we also are doing a Kickstarter for it soon, just to complete, because we want this to be like a proper series, right? A proper show. And as you know, a proper, like, this is the implication that High Night is not a proper show, but it is. But we're doing it differently this time. We're doing like a fully funded show, a fully funded professional production, and so that's why we're still doing a Kickstarter just to make up the remaining amount that we have for the budget. But yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a big one. I want to make sure that all of the actors are paid well, and we're so that we can have like a really the highest quality show that we can have. And it's going to be spooky, it's going to be scary, it's going to be on the Rusty Quill Network. And yeah, thank you everybody for people who love Hainai who are now getting to see my work on Dominus. But if you are here, if you are somehow here knowing about Dominus but not knowing about Hainai, go listen to Hainai also. Thank you. And of course, everyone in the chat, if you have any questions about Hainai or Dominus or this episode on its own, feel free. I still have half an hour. my my episodes really have gotten so short. Like I remember the first Haina episode was like 40 minutes, and I think our longest episode is somewhere around the 50-minute range. But now I'm keeping it down to a healthy 15 to 30 minutes, um, which has made it easier to release weekly. So feel free to ask some questions in the chats or outside the chats. Let me go check the this one as well, just to make sure I'm not missing any messages. And yeah, if you have anything to say, any questions, I have 30 minutes. And I feel like it's better to like keep this going than it is to just like say, uh, just leave and not come back. Yeah, questions, comments, etc., etc. Um, yeah. But yeah, other than that, oh look, also look what my family got me for Christmas. I have a Philippine flag. Yay, finally. Finally have a little bit of a thing in the back there. Yeah, if nobody has any questions, I guess I didn't really have a plan other than this. This is the live show. This is a 30. It was like I was able to kill 30 minutes with the live show, but now I feel like nobody is curious about like what's coming. But I do want to share something really fun that happened when I was doing some advertising for Dominus, which is that I made a video about Dominus, just talking about it briefly, and I backed it with the music of "Take Me to Church" by Hosier, because that's the vibe. That's the vibe of the show, and it has gone very viral on TikTok, which is scary. um, oh, there are questions. Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, it was very fitting. Oh, there's a question from Alex. Hi, Alex. I hope you got to catch the entire episode. Okay, that question is from the episode. Yay. Alex is being locked out by age restriction. I'm kidding. Um, what time period are the ghosts from? So this is actually based on a it's based on some actual urban legends of the Manila Post Office. So I did not invent these ghosts. These are ghosts that have already been there. The time period is World War II. And while it is not explicitly said, um, the soldiers are meant to supposedly be Japanese soldiers because the Japanese soldiers were occupying the Philippines in World War II. Um, yeah, and there was a lot of like very violent resistance. Obviously, it was a war. And yeah, so that's the time period, World War II. And the stories of the Japanese soldiers and their bayonets is very like ingrained in Filipinos. Um, and then another question from Small C's. What has been something new you've learned slash utilized while making Dominus that hasn't come up during working on High Nine? Um, Nothing. Well, I guess the new thing is just managing a much larger budget. Like, there's nothing. A lot of the things I know from High Nai, I am applying to Dominus for sure. But it's all the same stuff. It's just that High Nai I did sort of in a very guerrilla kind of way where I just like we start it, we'd make it, whatever, and obviously I was the main voice actor. And but the same principles apply. I think what I'm learning right now is just basically what I need to do when you have a grant. That's what it is. Like, that's the new thing. Like, what do you do when you have a grant? The answer is collect all the receipts. Collect every single receipt. Collect receipts, invoices, and records for tax purposes because you need to prove that you've used up the grant money in a proper way. That's what that's what I'm learning, but it's all the same because later in the production of High Nine, when we got bigger and bigger, I was able to pay the voice actors properly, which I wasn't able to do early on because we didn't really have anything, obviously. But now that I have the means to pay people, I do the same thing. I collect the invoices, I make sure that everything's tracked down. So it's just a lot of like financial tracking, essentially, is what it is. Just making sure that all transactions are recorded, which is just good practice for any sort of project. Um, yeah, and does anyone have any other questions? Um, I guess a big one as well was just getting in touch with people who I very much respect, and then not, not being stingy with payment, essentially. Being looking at a rate, looking at someone's actor's rate and being like, yes, yes, I will pay that rate. I have never paid anyone this much money in my life, but yeah. And a question from Kesh. What are you most excited for when it comes to working on a new show? Ooh, everything. Uh, but the creative process for sure. I like sort of going back and forth. I like having people to work with, and I like sort of discussing what is feasible and what we can actually apply in the story because a lot of people are excited for the show. I'm also getting sort of doors opened for what I'm able to do. For example, I don't know if I'll do this, so this is just a maybe right now. So if you guys do hear it in the show, then you'll know that it happened. But when I was starting the show, I was like, well, I only have the budget for this. So I only have the budget for this, so I'm not gonna try to do this and this. But then I made a big announcement about the grant, and one of the people who congratulated me was my old choir master. And this guy is like world renowned. He is like a world renowned choir master with like he is the choir master for many choirs, but he has like the biggest choir in the Philippines like by reputation, and they're like multi award winning. They win every like competition, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so that's he congratulated me, and I said, "Hey, sir, would you like to do some? Would you like to sing for our show? Because it's a church show or it's a Catholic show. Would you like to do a bunch of like Catholic singing for us? But we'll see if that actually happens or not, because it's a big undertaking, right? Like when you're thinking about what you can do in scope, suddenly you can hire more people, suddenly you can get like professional singers, an entire choir, and now I have somehow like have the budget for it. So, you know, maybe I can get like this multi-award winning choir to sing choir songs on the show. Maybe. We'll see. Because obviously there's scheduling, there's payment, there's blah, 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 this and that. But because I'm going to give more time to sort of work on the show and not, rush into it, it's a possibility and it would be super cool. But at the same time, if I can't do that, I just ask my friends because all my friends are singers. Like, I come from a choir background. I come from a 10-year choir background, and I was like, I like my brother, I'm like, hey, can you sing me a bass line? And I'm like, my friend is like, can you sing me a tenor line? And then I like tap my like sibling and I'm like, hey, can you sing me a soprano line? I'll do the alto line. Can you do it? And then we're just like over like each of us individually just being like, Dia Sire, Dia Celia. So there something something. But yeah, that's something exciting. Like all the people I can work with and all the possibilities that have opened up because of this new budget thing. This thing that called a budget. Can you believe we have a budget? Yeah. Okay, so it's oh, we still have so much. I'm answering these questions too fast. I'm sorry. Please ask more questions. Please, may I have more questions? Please. Or let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about while I still have so much time. I should have made a longer episode. I definitely didn't write that episode in like yesterday. But yes. Yeah, let me take a look if there's anything in the High Night chat as well. But yeah, no, this is super fun. And um while I'm waiting for questions, earlier in the day I got to be at something called an author brunch. So a lot of us Filipino authors were invited to this little brunch thing with Filipino food. So that was really fun. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to sell my books. I got to sell my erotic monster comics. I got to sell my Filipino monster romance comics. And when I came back, there was this man selling these sheepskin hats in the square, and I was like, with the weather, with how it is, let me buy a sheepskin hat. So that's that was my day. It's been a very busy day. And that was after I came home from um I came home from the author convention, the author like meetup brunch thing, and we also went on a Filipino bread side quest, so that was fun. Um ooh, yeah, it's very cozy. Let me see. Another question. Thank you for the hat compliments. It is incredibly warm. It is heavy duty. I'm like, I feel like I don't need a heavy duty hat, but for this weather. It'll be nice. I also got this. This is an older one. I got this from another time, but same thing. It was like a lady who was selling like I think it was Mexican or South American hats. This one's cute. I like it. So lots of hats. I hate hats, but I it's so funny to be like, look at my hats. I hate hats. I generally do, but in this weather you need them. They are a blessing and a gift. Okay, so question. From Tesh, what audio dramas have you been enjoying listening to lately? That's my secret cap. I'm not listening to any. Ah. When you make an audio drama, it's hard to listen to audio dramas, unfortunately. And there are ones that I really want to listen to, but same with musicals and things. It takes me 2 to 5 business years to get into anything that people recommend me. So unfortunately, nothing right now, especially because when a lot of your creative energy goes into making an audio drama, it's harder to let in creative stuff, even though you're supposed to do that so that you can have more inspiration. You can have, your brain fill, like you need to fill your tank. So it is important for me to get into new media, especially podcasts and stuff, but it is harder when you are expending creative energy to internalize anything creative. But I haven't been listening to any audio drama lately. But I will always, hype up the people who are my fellow creators when I know that their work is good. Um, because I know like if they have made a good thing that I like, then I will they have the other things that they have made are also probably things that I like. Um, but yeah, no audio dramas, mostly just watching my favorite YouTubers and stuff. Yeah. Okay. You can hear I'm also very like affected by the cold in my sinuses. Elizabeth says cozy. Yes, go cozy. And then Aphid Solace says, well, since there's so much time left, would you want to talk about High Knife for those of us who have never listened? I've heard lots, but still not gotten around to listening. What can I look forward to? Wonderful. Okay, you can look forward to doll horror. You can look forward to toxic lesbians. You can look forward to a five-way polyamory. You can look forward to gay backstabbing. You can look forward you can look forward to if other people want to chime in the chat for like what you can look forward to in Hainai. You can look forward to a podcast which I did not realize would be as scary as it was because I was like, no, just listen to it. It's not that scary. And then people were like, it's scary. What do you mean? What do you mean? And so it's apparently scary. Would you believe the horror podcast is scary? Yeah, I wasn't convinced either. Doesn't sound right to me. You can look forward to yeah, I mean my favorite arc was definitely the doll arc, so that was really fun. Um, you can look forward to me attempting a very bad British accent and then making well, it wasn't like well, it wasn't painful because I only did it like very briefly and then I stopped. But and apparently a semi-passable, if not like at least inoffensive Irish accent. Um, you can look forward to me doing 15 voices of varying quality. Um, you can look forward to a lot of like unrequited love. You can look forward to a lot of a lot of queer characters. Essentially, like there are more queer characters than there are non-queer characters in the show. You can look forward to a lady and her monster husband. Um, you can look forward to rich people always being the problem, rich white people always being the problem. And my my little propaganda for broadcasting Filipino culture as well as Toronto architecture. So that's super fun. And yeah, those are just random things that are in Hainai. But the general idea of Hainai, I'm sure a lot of you already know, is that there's a Filipina immigrant in Toronto fighting supernatural threats because she grew up around supernatural threats. And this is one example, like this live show is one example of just her, like when you actually put together all of the experiences Mary had, it's just a lot of like really like supernatural things trying to get at her in very terrifying and negative ways. So it's like, what did she do? I mean, spoilers, but like, what did she do to deserve this? What did she do to deserve being targeted by all of these supernatural creatures? You'll have to listen to the show to find out. But yeah, that's what you can look forward to in Hainai. And yeah, and a lot of people already know this. A lot of people have fallen in love with the characters. Um, oh, Aphid Sala says, "I'm sold. Listening this week." Yes, yes, we have another one. Oh, and you can look forward to this adorable art. So I'm wearing the shirt. It's the Mary shirt. So Mary's the main character of Hainai. And ta-da! Wait, ta-da! There she is. She's so cute. She's 5 feet tall. That's not even a joke. She is 5 feet tall because she's Filipino. But yeah, let me know if there are any other questions. It's 7:38. I should really answer these questions more slowly. Um, while I wait for another question, I'm gonna show you my bread side quest. So I met somebody at the event who said, "Hey, you want some really good bread, Filipino bread?" And I was like, "Sure." So we went on a bread side quest. Here is my wares from the bread side quest. Oh, she's adorable. Thank you. She is. She is very adorable. So bread side quest, sorry, riches. So we have some gigantic pandesal, which is Filipino salt bread. It's a very common bread in the morning. You can dip it in coffee or you can dip it in hot chocolate. It's perfect. And then I also have hopia, which is like I think it's like Chinese Filipino. And you have like a little dessert on the inside and a thick bread on the outside. Really love it. And then you have ooh, I love this one. Hopia ube, which has ube in it. You know ube, it's the purple one. Look at that. Sorry, I should have added like a warning for food. But yeah, purple ube. Yeah, I'll eat that later. And now I've messed up my own Focusing. Sorry. And then there is my favorite one, although this version's not my favorite, but it's my favorite like dessert. Bread cam. Did I bring enough to share with the class? Yes, I did. Um, I had so much bread. So this is my favorite one. Um, although the recipe for this one I wasn't like a big fan of for this particular one. But it's called, it was really funny. So what I showed you earlier was pandesal, which is bread of salt. So it's because like that's how the Spanish made bread while in the Philippines because they had like limited ingredients, and it became a staple. Like pandesal is very common for Filipinos to eat in the morning or in the afternoon. The one I just showed you, the red one, is called so it has the name Kalihim, which is like what does it mean? Senator? Like the Kalihim is just like a word for like a politician in the Philippines. However, what I and many people know this bread as is called panderegla. And I'm trying to remember what exactly it means. Panderegla regla means uh uh wait. Wait a minute. What does it mean? Regla is I'm trying to break because it's Spanish, right? Oh, that's why. Okay, I get it now. So panderegla is like uh bread of the ruler or something like that. So regla. However, in the Philippines, regla is also slang for period because of what it looks like. So we call this pan de regla. The very unfortunate name, but it's always what I refer to it as. And it's delicious. If you asked me what it's made of, I couldn't answer you, but it looks like blood. It looks like period blood. That's why they call it that. Bread lore. This is what happens when you make a podcast a reasonable length. Sudden like when you do a live show, it's like 30 minutes, and then suddenly you're left with like an extra 30 minutes of like, let me show you bread lore. But yeah. Uh, I hope the bread lore is fun though. I hope you're all enjoying the bread lore. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat before yeah, I have like another 15 minutes before we're done actually. So feel free. But also, if you want to discuss this, so if you, for those of you who are gonna miss this episode or not episode, this miss this live show, it's gonna be shown on the Podcast Book Club YouTube, like or VOD. They're gonna be in the VODs. I believe they're also. I don't know if they're uploading it to the YouTube. I should have asked, but yeah, they're gonna be in the VODs, so you can absolutely um watch the VODs later if you want to listen to it again. But the full edited episode with all the effects is going to go up on Patreon for patrons. It's going to be a bonus episode for patrons early, and then I'm going to release it publicly maybe a month later. So that's the plan for that episode. And I see a comment that says, "No complaints about the bread lore from me. I love bread lore." Yes, bread lore. Um, but yeah, and if you want to discuss more Hainai and more stuff, you should definitely go to the Hainai Discord server because lots of, like, obviously, you can also discuss it in the Podcast Book Club Discord server. There's really cool people there. But yeah, we also have a Hainai Discord server where people talk about lore. They talk about, like, background, behind the scenes stuff. They talk about, like, the building mysteries of Hainai. And, ooh, Small C's dropped the link on the YouTube channel where they're going to be posting this live show. And Fractal Fan Alex says, thank you for the invite, actually. Um, does the crossover mean that Hainai and Dominus are taking place in the same universe? Yes. Yes. So actually, people who listen to Hainai may have a slight advantage over knowing what the mystery is. Not quite though. Like it's still gonna be very mysterious. There's definitely gonna be, but there are elements of Hainai lore that will be relevant in Dominus, which apparently will be very exciting for a lot more people than I expected, quite frankly. So that's really it's kind of scary how many people are interested in this new show. So, but I'm very excited, obviously. I'm very grateful because um like Hainai is very successful, but it's never been like gigantic, you know. It's a big show, but not like the biggest show you've ever seen. Dominus is getting a lot of traction very early, and I'm I'm gonna see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yes, they do take place in the same universe. Um, and maybe there'll be a crossover in the future, maybe not. Certainly there will be references, but probably not like a full crossover. Especially on Dominus itself, because Dominus is only going to be a short series. But yeah, still gonna be super fun. Uh, oh my nose. I just realized there are also a lot of people who really want the Hainai book, and I haven't done anything with that yet. So I'll figure something out once I'm no longer busy. But I do have an example here. The Hainai book is, let me find it. Here we go. I just did a book sale today, so that's why I have stuff in here. But do I have enough stuff in here? Oh, also look, I have Hainai stickers. Ta-da. That is also going to be part of a future fundraiser thing, the Hainai stickers. Then the Hainai book is right over here. I believe it's this one. Yes. There you go. Stickers. And yes, here's the Hainai book. So this is Remind Me to Tell You Later, Filipino folk horror from the Hainai podcast. So this is like a collection of all of the Remind Me to Tell You Later or side stories that we've done for Hainai where Mary gets attacked by a ghost. No, they like Mary gets like in trouble with supernatural creatures pretty much constantly. And but it's really fun to learn about supernatural creatures. There's actually a little bit of information at the end about each creature or each like thing that's been mentioned. So I'm really proud of this one. And it's yeah, people are really liking it. I just have to like find time to do a proper delivery of it. But yeah, you have like little there's entries about the tick tick, and then you have the chanak and other supernatural creatures and things. Yeah. And um the chat says bread and book and stickers hour or being fed. Being fed the bread. But yeah, if there are any other questions, feel free, but we are actually hitting our last 10 minutes. If you have any questions about the episode, let me know. If you have any questions about future episodes, let me know as well. I'm trying to make sure that all the remaining Heine episodes for Act 3 are ready. We are kind of hitting the final episodes soon, and I just want to make sure that everything's ready and set. And that we will end Heine Act 3 on something fun for me. I don't know if it'll be fun for all of you. like obviously January is a weird time, so it's felt like it's kind of been floating. But the plot will get some kind. It's gonna make people feel some kind of way. I think is my hot take for the next part of the plot. But yeah, in the meantime, you get some fun little bonus episodes like this one. And finally, when we get to Act 4, I can finally do the spider episode I've been waiting for. I need to do the spider episode. Ah. I don't know why I've delayed the spider episode for so long, but I really am excited for the idea. And we also recently had a bonus mushroom episode, so if you like and or hate mushrooms, that's the perfect thing to look into. But yeah, I'm just about finishing up my hour. Thank you so much everybody for joining me. Like we still have 10 minutes, so it's not going to end yet, but if you have any other comments or questions, feel free to shout them out. And you can also like on the VOD probably leave some comments on the YouTube. I'll go check them out every intermittently and try to answer some questions there. Or you can just ask me on all High Night socials. Um, and yeah, Goat Egg says mushrooms. Yes, yes. The mushroom stuff is so fun. But yes, let me just make sure everyone's here. Okay, I really love the mushroom episode. It's very It's scary in a different way, I feel. And one of the joys that I have in Hainai is being able to explore different concepts and not, I have a plot, obviously, and the plot is like very important to me. But I do like being able to write very different concepts and sort of play with like short story ideas because I really love the short story, which is why I made an entire show. That's just me writing a short story every episode. Oh, and yeah, if you want to catch Hainai, we actually do a live stream of every new episode on Sundays. There's the Hainai YouTube channel, youtube.com/HainaiPod. Sorry I didn't send it over, but um, so the YouTube channel, I wouldn't consider it the main place to listen to Hainai, but a lot of people only have YouTube, so I put it up there. And also, we do live streams on Sundays. So on Sundays, we do live streams of every new episode, when we have a new episode. And a lot of people come and chat. It's super fun. Like, there are at least like five to at most 10, I think, but like there are five-ish chatters or something per episode to react to every new episode. So some of them are here actually, and they're super fun. They land every Sunday, 9 p.m. ET or Toronto time. And that's the same time that the episode drops on all podcast platforms. But if you want to be able to chat with other listeners while the episode goes live, it is a really fun way to feel like there's a community because there is, other than being in the Discord as well. It's something really fun. I look forward to it every week. Um, I will say that there won't be any episode tomorrow because of this live show, but I will make an announcement about it. And definitely next week. And we also have like an unscripted show called High Night B-Sides where you can ask questions about the latest episodes or High Night in general, and then your questions will be read out on the B-Sides episode, and we will answer them, me and my friend Edward McKee, who plays one of the characters in the show, Danny Boyd. So yeah, it's super fun. It's a great way to kind of engage with High Night while we're making it because I feel like obviously a lot of people get into shows when it's done, but Hainai is a show that I want to keep doing until there's a proper ending. But I feel like it'll probably be running until like 2027, 2028. So yeah, there's like I have it laid out before me. Planned, I have it planned out. So yay. Anyway, those are my calls to action. Go listen to Hainai. Watch out for Dominus, the Dominus podcast, which is going to drop on the Rusty Quill. Watch out for, you can follow it at Dominus Pod, DOMINUSPOD, on all socials, except X. I don't know if we're going to put it on Twitter. I don't know. Because, because, I don't know if I want to make another account for Twitter, but it's on Blue Sky, it's on Tumblr, it's on Facebook. Yeah, I'm still on Facebook, I guess, but, um, and it's on Instagram. So it's on all the and TikTok apparently now. TikTok is apparently where it's the most popular. So there you go. Um, but we'll see if people like prefer it because I know a lot of people don't like jumping platforms anyway. So we just want to be where people are. We just want to be where the people are, where we want to see them dancing. And yeah, so Dominus Pod, Hainai Pod, lots of fun for both. Always making Hainai. I should make a shirt about that. Always making Hainai, AMH. And it's just my joy to make Hainai, and I'm always happy to chat about it. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining this stream. Um, I didn't want to end it too early, but I do think that unless anyone has any other questions, comments, or just thoughts about Dominus or Hainai. Um, I really want to like just say thank you, especially because this weather is kind of hitting me in the throat, So, um, so Aphid Sala says this was so much fun, and the bread tour has made my day. We love you, Motzie. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to listen to High Night. Definitely excited for you. And please feel free to leave comments. I love seeing all the comments for every show. I reply to every single one of them. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things I really like to engage with people who are listening to High Night. So I really appreciate that. And Goat Egg says, thanks for sharing this with us. Thank you for having me. This was super fun. There's gonna be another live show. I believe it's a Woebegone live show later on. And I'm very excited for Dylan as well. So yeah, just enjoy the rest of the convention. I love AuFiCon. I'm really happy for all the people who are doing this and for all of the talks, everything that's happening. I am gonna be here tomorrow as well. I guess it's technically today for people on a certain time zone earlier than mine, but I am actually gonna be here tomorrow for. I'm gonna be moderating the BIPOC representation panel with a lot of some of the amazing like creators in the audio space. A lot of them like really good friends who I really respect. And so please do check that out as well. Check out the schedule for all of the events that you want to watch. But I highly recommend checking out the BIPOC representation panel. In my time zone of Toronto, it is at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And yeah, more Motzie. Yes. Yes, I will be there. Be there or be square. Yeah. Thank you. Voices of Color, BIPOC Representation and Fiction podcast at 6 p.m. GMT tomorrow. Yes, thank you. All right. I'm let my voice rest. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody. And yeah, let me know